And we should now be live on Facebook again with our talk back. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. For those of you who haven't been involved with our talk back sessions before, please be aware there is a lag. Any questions you ask in the chat, we will try to respond to, but it could be 30 seconds to a minute before we see it. So please be patient with us. And again, thank you for joining us, and thank you for watching Romeo and Juliet. While we are waiting for the live stream to catch up to us, I have a question for the cast. Have any of you performed Romeo and Juliet before? No one. Wow.
I performed it in the classroom.
Okay.
There you go. When we would read it in 9th grade, I think.
Yeah.
Which for me was 150,000 years ago. And I remember distinctly one of the kids that was reading, you know, we had to read parts and everything because we had a class of 25 or whatever it was. And there's a line that was cut, but it talked about the Pope. And one of the other students in my class chimed in and was like, the Pope was alive back then? That's
good. Awesome. I have about a bazillion stories from teaching this play. I'd love to share with you guys sometime, but some of them may not be appropriate for this venue.
Well, there is that too, I guess. Let's see where we're at. So I assume most, if not all of you, have read it before. What did you think of this particular cutting? Because I cut almost half of the script. It's a fairly long script.
Okay.
I was amazed that you could put it together in an hour and a half.
And I thought that it all flowed well. You certainly got all of the major elements, so it was easy to understand what the action was, what was going on.
You cut pretty much all the lines that I won't explain to my students, and I just tell them to look up No Fear Shakespeare.
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
Yeah,
there's a lot of that.
There's a lot of that.
I felt like we went from, you know, like whenever people talk about, you know, Harry Potter got adapted to a movie and you had to take this 500, 600,000 page book and condense it down to an hour and a half, 2-hour movie. I feel like that we hit all the emotional beats really well of the story. And I think that lent itself well to what we were trying to do here tonight.
Okay.
And when you're presenting a tragedy, the first thing that goes is the humor, and that's the part that I really missed, I think.
Yeah, I tried to keep some of that in there, but you're right. When you're trying to streamline it so much, it's
got to go. I understand.
There still certainly was some of the banter back and forth, especially between Romeo and his friends.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. And Mercutio is such a strong enough character and such a well-known character. I think you have to keep a lot of his banter.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I wish I could have left more of it, because there's a whole scene between he and Romeo that is just vicious. They are.
The audience has to like him because his death has to have a lot of impact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Wendy did such a great job. Good job. Yeah.
Yes.
So let's see, we have a few comments. We have Katie Boehner-Lammer said, hello cast, great job. Thank you, Katie. Liberty Amber has commented that was some pretty expensive poison. 40 ducats for a vial of poison would be monumentally expensive. And Annie Boehner-Barney has said, great show, everyone. So, Annie, thank you for watching.
A ducat is 3.5 grams of gold.
A ducat is 3.5 grams of gold.
Well, Romeo's not paying him for the poison so much as to keep his mouth shut.
Yeah. That's what it sounds like.
I've got good stuff.
Yeah.
Work fast.
It did work fast. Okay, so let's just go round robin. who is your favorite character in the show, not your own?
Oh,
So you're Dale on my screen, you're top left, so we'll start with you. Dale, who was your favorite character that wasn't you?
oh, I have no time. I have no time. I think I like Tybalt. He is so, so typically, so completely a teenager, a 20-something.
Yeah.
Right? Just, I know what's best, and why can't you all see it? I'm going to do it right now.
Okay.
No offense to all of the 20-somethings.
Yeah, I don't feel that when I left 20 a long time ago. Chelsea, you're next on my screen. And again, I'm talking about the characters, not the performances, so everyone knows. Chelsea.
I'm going to go opposite of Dale and say Benvolio, because if people would just listen to Benvolio,
Yeah.
he is the voice of reason for this play. Put down your swords. Hey, how about we talk about things, guys? Listen to Benvolio and none of this will happen. But no,
I
they can't
agree.
do that.
There's the bit where Mercutio just yells at him saying, "You're a hothead and always picking fights." Benvolio is trying to stop every fight that happens.
Yeah.
Abby, how about you?
I seriously don't think I have a favorite. All of the characters are pretty good.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. I'll give you that. Richard.
Well, my favorite character in the play is just got to be Mercutio. But tonight there was something that just influenced me. I'd have to say it was the nurse.
Okay.
Go figure.
And what color is your nose?
So Jan, how about you?
I'm sorry, I was talking. Did you call on me?
Yes, your favorite
Okay.
character.
I have a favorite character that probably nobody else has. I really feel for Paris. Here's a poor schmuck. All he wants is to marry a beautiful, rich girl. His life is all set up, and the next thing you know, he's dead.
And he was trying to enforce the law. He was trying to protect her.
Yeah, absolutely. He was just a poor schmuck in love.
Yeah, it's true. I'd never thought of that. Wendy.
I love the nurse. Everything about her. She's just hilarious and always there for everybody. And I just love everything about her.
She's another one. She's another one that has a lot of really just funny bits. And unfortunately, they wound up with a lot of Mercutio's bits too.
Yeah.
And Lilibeth is rejoining us, so very good. Allie, who's your favorite character?
Oh gosh, actually, Mercutio, I'd say just because he is like funny a lot of the time.
Yep.
I actually kind of like Juliet because even though she had the stupid "I fell in love at first sight and now I'm going to kill myself," I think that's so dumb. But she, until that moment, she was the strong, female character, did not believe in love, and definitely wouldn't have willingly married Paris unless her parents absolutely forced her into it. And so, until the moment she falls in love, she's the character that a lot of people tend to like in Shakespeare plays.
Yeah.
And then she killed herself.
So before I move on, we have a few comments. Doug Sokolowski said it was nice chemistry and he loved the fight scenes. So thank you, Doug.
Yay.
Amber has asked, Allie, how did you feel playing a man for the first time?
I was worried that I would sound a lot like a girl whenever I played Romeo, especially because he's supposed to be this suave, full of himself kind of not really suave, but like dorky, a little bit like he thinks he's, you know, all that.
Yeah.
And he I don't know. I was surprised to be playing Romeo. And I really enjoyed it. I would definitely like to play Romeo on stage one day. That would be a lot of fun. But
Would be cool.
it was a little weird playing a guy for the first time because I definitely thought I sounded like a girl for most of the lines.
You were fine. You did very well. We had, in the live stream, some of the comments just they thought you were on fire. So good job.
Maybe we should do a gender bender Romeo and Juliet.
That would be.
Oh,
great.
that's interesting.
I may have to now. Megan Simon has commented, your crying scenes seemed so real. What did you have on your mind to make you cry? I know Juliet cried several times. Chelsea, you cried a few times. What were you thinking about when you cried?
As much as I hate method acting, honestly, this time around, that's kind of where I ended up. There's been a lot of death and bad things in my family kind of since quarantine started, so a little bit cathartic, actually.
Well, that's good, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, Sarah.
I guess I just try to be more in the moment and think about what the character's going through.
Yeah, there's always a song that I replay in my head that just always makes me cry. So I think of that. But yeah, it's been like hard times for everybody. I think you're just feeling like you're going to cry all the time. So it just comes to you.
Okay.
For me, it's I had some time between my scenes where I had to come in not crying and then go to crying for Juliet's death scene. But I have a couple of key songs that I can play that can kind of put on that emotional, I wasn't actually crying, but put that emotional edge on things.
Okay. Katie Boehner-Lammers agrees that the nurse is the best character in the show. Amber asked another question. Lots of teens love this show. How do the adults feel about it? So any of the adults?
Can I start, please?
Please.
I work with a program that deals with teenage students. Sarah was one of my students, and she can attest to this. During our summer academy, we have very strict no relationship rules. But what that ends up happening is we have something that I call Romeo and Juliet romances, where they have this forbidden love that they can't, I would die without you. And then they get out of our academy. It's 6 weeks. They get out of the academy, and then they the Romeo and Juliet goggles come off, and they're like, oh my gosh, what was I even thinking? And something my old boss said before I took over for her was that young love is time consuming and debilitating. And so as I've gotten older, this is a 14-year-old girl with a, between 16 and 20-something-year-old boy, and they all madly in love over the course of however long. And how true is that? And then they, so as I've grown older, it's kind of the same thing with like Little Mermaid, where she's like, Daddy, I'm 16 years old. And you're like, as a kid, you're like, yeah. And then as you get older, you're like, you're 16. You have no idea what you want. Like,
I'm sitting here and I'm 42 and still I'm not really sure what's going on. So slow it down. Don't worry.
Yeah, we were kind of talking in rehearsal one day this week that some years when I teach Romeo and Juliet, they see it as a beautiful love story. And other years, they're just like, Miss Turner, these people are dumb. And personally, if we're talking Shakespeare love stories, yes, I think this one is dumb. And there are others, one specifically, and I'm like, no, I think this is a much better picture of a good love story. But it's dumb.
Which one is that?
Oh, I have a little bit of an obsession with Much Ado About Nothing. So
as everyone should.
yeah, it's the best. The
Fantastic.
original romantic
favorite.
comedy. It's amazing. Just yeah.
Let's see. Maddie Phillips has said, I just wanted to say that Chelsea did great when it came to the fake crying, but everyone did. So, Laura, I apologize. Now I'm going to butcher your last name, Laura Geim. Jan, you were cracking me up. Your timing was great, and it felt like you knew exactly where your character was coming from. Have you ever considered a career in comedy?
I taught for 40 years, so yeah, that was pretty much a career in comedy.
Again, from Laura, Jeremy, you did a great job of being that dad. Did you pull that parent mode from a lot of experience?
Yes, every summer for the last, how many years is this, Chelsea? 10.
One foot to it, 10 or so. Yeah.
10 years. I have been the parent to over 35 kids during the summer. We do a huge academy where students live on campus. And yeah, sometimes you got to pull out that dad mode. However, I never get that angry. So that is more geared towards, the people in my life that I'd like to maybe tell off and don't, because I'm a normal human being that doesn't go off.
Maddie commented that right before quarantine, she got to see the junior theater version of Much Ado About Nothing and loved it. So Maddie, thank you. It was a special show for me, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. Okay, so moving on with my question, Jeremy, your favorite character in the show?
As much as everyone loves the nurse and the friar, I do have to say, as someone who's now played Daddy Capulet, and the fact that we had a blood feud for God knows how many years over who knows what, there would definitely be a feud with the nurse and the friar after learning that they instigated this whole ordeal.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would like to thank Friar Lawrence for throwing the nurse under the bus.
Exactly.
And the nurse was privy to the whole thing.
Last second.
The nurse's whole job is to keep her from doing this.
I would say, as a lawful good person myself, generally speaking, I would have to say that the prince, who also serves as narrator and is above it all, would be my favorite character.
Let's see. James, your favorite character?
Actually, I have to say Romeo, simply because he's so entertaining to watch go through these stages. In this, but he spends a scene talking to Benvolio about how amazing Rosaline is, and then immediately over heels for Juliet, and is just an entertaining character in general.
And somehow he thinks this time it's forever.
Yeah. Megan Simon has asked, what was your reaction when you were assigned your roles? So when you saw who I assigned you to, how did you feel? What did you think?
I was in utter shock because honestly, I'm surrounded by like the best group of actors ever. So it's really an honor to play such a role.
It was hard to cast this show because the core group that I've been working with is just phenomenally talented, and I had to give incredible performers relatively small parts. It was actually painful. So.
When I get cast, I like to look at who else plays other characters and to see people that are older than me and more experienced than me play the bigger parts. I feel happy for them because I get to watch them and experience how good they are. And I like playing the smaller characters because I get to experience almost the rest of the play because I don't have that much to say and that much to be in. So I get to experience almost all of the play and get to watch the characters evolve throughout the play. So when I saw that I got not very many lines, I was kind of excited.
Good. I'm glad. I'm always afraid that people will be upset. It's when you're casting a show, you're always terrified that people are going to hate the roles.
I mean, there's always the part that's in the back of my mind, like, oh man, I kind of wish that I could have gotten a bigger character. But playing the lower characters gets me to experience everybody else and the rest of the play. So.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed your role in the show.
I had to marry Jeremy for the third time in quarantine theater.
It's true. Okay, so I promise.
Some kind of hint we should be.
It's just our chemistry. We've been friends for countless years, like 350, I think now.
Something like that.
But you know, we teach theater together during the summers and have really pretty good chemistry where we can have that back and forth, and she doesn't feel like she's hurting my feelings when she's contrary or what have you. So I think that that's awesome that Carl has picked up on that over the past few shows that we've done. So.
Yeah, you've got it's an immediate connection. It was, I hate to say it this way, but casting the two of you as the Capulets was almost the low-hanging fruit of the show because it was just an easy decision.
Carl, we know.
I promise, if I'm directing another one of these, I will not cast you as a married couple.
No.
Oh, no, you totally can. We enjoy roasting each other. No, you always can. We just enjoy roasting each other.
Okay.
And
if not that, it'll be siblings.
And on top of that, you know, the fact that we were texting in between rehearsals and things and talking about what's our backstory here, what's going on, and I'm like, well, we're not that far in age and I'm not that old, so let's say we were married at, you know, whatever age we were, so I would have been 16, she would have been 14, I inherited, we got the, you know, that's why we're so jaded by this point apparently.
So you were Romeo and Juliet, except it worked out for you.
No, we were arranged. We
don't like each other.
They were Juliet in Paris.
Yeah.
Okay, right. There you go.
There you go.
Okay. Let's see. What's another one? Laura Geim commented, you guys have great chemistry, which you do. Doug Sokolowski has asked, what's next for quarantine theater? Good to see a mix today of kids and adults. The next thing that is scheduled is actually an original junior theater production. We're calling it the Quarantine Experience. Look for that on August 29th. We're having a slight hiccup in our schedule just because of things that are going on, but that's next. And then after that, Jeremy is after that with a junior theater show. And then the following show will be Jan Boehner directing Pygmalion. At least that's what she's thinking about right now. No promises.
No, it's for sure. I've almost got the script ready. Yeah.
Perfect. So you've heard it here. Jan Boehner directing Pygmalion, and that one is an all ages show. Margaret Sokolowski has asked, have you considered doing a musical? With the junior theater stuff, with our junior theater program, we talked about doing a musical, but the lag that we deal with sometimes is fierce. And so we haven't come up with a good way to make it work, but we are considering things.
There is music, or there will be music in quarantine, we think.
Yes. Quarantine Experience will have music.
It's some original music.
Original music by a number of the actors in this cast are involved with it. So looking forward to seeing them again on the 29th. Let's see, where was I at? Bart, your favorite character in the show?
I've got to say Friar.
Okay.
I just like his. The line that stands out to me about it. I'm the greatest, able to do the least. He wants to do a lot of good things for both. For both, but I think he just is at a point where he's just powerless at the demise of Romeo and trying to do some good. It's just I just feel for the guy, and I think that I don't know. I just think it's a pretty powerful character myself.
Sarah, you're up.
I gotta say it started out as Mercutio because he's the golden boy. He's the one that everyone loves. But through the course of this show, it's got to be the nurse. She's just so no nonsense. She's so vivid, and Jan did a beautiful job of portraying her. I just love.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just love that there's a line in there where she's utterly shocked that she was told to shut up, basically, but not that she's a gossiper. She did not care about that. She was just mad about being told to shut up.
Right.
Maddie, how about you?
I'm really uneducated on Romeo and Juliet and Shakespeare in general. So I don't think that I really get to talk about my favorite character because I'm not that educated. But if I were to pick a character, I would say that my favorite is Juliet because she was going to pretty much be forced to marry somebody. And then she was like, no, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to not listen to you and do my own thing and try to marry this other guy. And the fact that she was just like, I'm going to take control of my life and my parents don't get to tell me what to do, I kind of like that.
I do agree. A lot of times when you see Juliet, she's very soft and very flat and almost vapid. And I really dislike that. This isn't one of my preferred Shakespearean pieces, and partly it's because everyone loves it, so I have to be a little contrarian. But I dislike the way Juliet is always played. And Sarah, I didn't even have to coach her on it. She didn't do that. You brought energy and vivaciousness and attitude to it, and so Juliet is a better character than most people give her credit for. I do agree with that.
She's so strong. She changes the most. She goes from being a 14-year-old child at the beginning, and within a matter of days, she's taking her life into her own hands.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Yeah, literally.
Yeah, well.
But remember, kids, see what happens when you disobey your parents. You end up dying, and everybody around you dies. So listen to your parents.
Yes, it is always good when you listen to your parents. I'm trying to do Fred Rogers there.
Yeah.
Always good to listen to those that are older than you. He was much better at it. I apologize to everyone. Let's see, and my screen has rearranged itself, so Jeremy has already answered, so I need to skip him. Gabe, who is your favorite character in the show?
I like Romeo because of the character arc that follows him through the whole show. It really transforms him. So.
Okay. And the last one, I think, is Lil. So Lilibeth, who's your favorite character?
I would say my favorite is probably either the nurse or Mercutio, and I really don't think he deserved to die. So.
Yeah, I agree. He was just a little hot under the collar and defending his friend, and Tybalt was a jerk.
So you shouldn't sword fight as teenagers.
Yeah, you also shouldn't sword fight as teenagers. So word for life.
I've seen productions though where it was an accident. Like Tybalt did not actually intend to kill Mercutio.
No. I very much disagree with that.
I have seen it played different ways though. Just saying.
Well, Chelsea and I had talked about this, and we're like, where are Tybalt's parents? Like, why are we the ones left raising this person when we're not even great parents to Juliet? Like,
You're the Don. You're the Don, the head of the family.
Yeah.
Right?
His parents are there. They're just not important.
Well,
They're the
and
head of the house.
yeah, there is another character called Capulet's cousin that might be Tybalt's dad, that he's like a drunk and only has one line, so I cut it because it wasn't necessary. So he may actually be in there. Maddie, you raised your hand. Yes.
Like I said, I'm very uneducated on Shakespeare, so when I re-listened to the play tonight, I realized something that I hadn't noticed before. Apparently incest didn't really affect anything back then because Romeo had a crush on his niece. And when Romeo read the list of the people that were coming, she said that, or technically he said that Rosalind was his niece.
And my niece, Capulet. He's reading what Capulet wrote.
Yeah.
He's reading the letter. He's reading what Capulet wrote.
Yeah.
No. Romeo does not have a crush on his own niece. No.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Did you ask Richard his favorite character? I don't remember.
Yeah, he said the nurse was.
Oh, that's right. He had to.
As he's sitting there with the nurse's husband.
By the way, if anybody's noticed that I've gotten up 6 times tonight, it's because I've let the nurse's dog out 6 times tonight.
we all have our priorities, and the nurse's dogs would be among them. So
I just thought we might see the nurse's hand come out of the side of the screen.
Later.
So I've got 2 answers to my question. So if it's the character that I would most like to play, would actually be Mercutio. Although I'm 20 years too old to play him now, I love his character.
Me too.
Yeah.
I would play that part too.
But as I was cutting this, and especially watching it being played, I've loved the Friar. Friar Lawrence is just a great character because some of his actions are not necessarily the right ones, but he's trying to bring the 2 families together. He's trying to end the war. And it just all goes sideways for him really quick. But Richard, you were fantastic as the Friar, so excellent work.
Thank you.
I have a question. Why is it in Shakespeare plays, whenever something bad happens, friars are always just like, okay, you small teenager who thinks you are in love, kill yourself or fake your death, and everything will be fixed. Everything will be fine. I mean, two Shakespeare shows I have done in a row now.
That's true.
Where the friar was just like,
pretend to be dead and it'll all be cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it works out in the other one.
Yeah.
I mean, but in the other one, if he hadn't been stopped, he was like, yeah, you can kill me now because I killed the love of my life inadvertently. So I mean, it almost didn't turn out that great.
True. So a few more comments. This is from Megan Simon. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much fun did you have?
97.
Excellent. Linda Hopkins Klein Tank has commented, never underestimate the power of a plastic knife.
Yeah, no kidding.
And Wendy, we got some comments on your knife in the chat stream, so it's a brutal.
Or a butter knife, apparently. Or a butter knife, apparently.
Yeah.
Wendy, can we get that that shink one more time for old time's sake?
Oh, yeah.
So good.
Wow.
Okay. I think
We
we've
need
been
your
going.
brother as our props master.
Let's say again.
We need Wendy's brother as our props master. She said
Yeah.
he's the one that came up with that idea.
I'd love to have him on board.
Yeah.
And then Amber just made the comment that I like to die on stage. That's why I would like to play Mercutio. So she may be true there. So that may be right. We've been going about 20 minutes. So I think it's probably a good time to end it because our comments have died down. Thank you, everyone. I truly enjoyed this process, and I would love to see you all again in the next show. So thank you, everyone. To those who stuck around to watch, thank you.
Cheers for the director.
Cheers.
Okay. Be safe, everybody.